Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to another episode of Mentoring Young Leaders, where mentorship is a priority. I am 𝗲𝗲𝗃𝗃, and the guest we have today, I feel like I was truly amazed when I heard about him. We have been trying to have this podcast for a while, and let's just say today's our lucky day. He is an O-level maths teacher for maths and ad maths, and the thing that stands out about him is that he's a YouTuber, and he has his channel called Mathlete By Saad, which has over 1 million views from all over the world. He is also the founder of an edtech called BRYT, and he's also an advisor for many edtechs nationwide and internationally. Now, apart from that, what really motivated me, and I'm sure all of the other teachers out there as well, is that he not only does this on his own scale, but he also empowers and motivates other people to come up towards content creation as well and adapt this versatile style of learning. So without further ado, let's welcome Mohammad Saadullah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for taking out the time.
Anytime.
Well, how is life these days?
Alhamdulillah, things are pretty stable ever since I moved to teaching online. Teaching season यही होता है. It starts off smooth and then gradually जैसे जैसे exams करीब आते हैं, workload gets hectic, and close to exams, I always tell my students कि मुझसे सिर्फ class start होने का time पूछा करो, ख़त्म होने का मैं नहीं बता सकता. तो अभी तो चीज़ें smooth हैं. January, February onwards things will start picking up pace, inshallah.
Wonderful. Well, it's one thing to be passionate about something, and it's one thing to be incredible at it. So how did you come into teaching, and what was your inspiration, and what did you want to become when you were young, and how did you end up being a teacher?
So it has always been an uphill journey, and अगर ये सवाल मुझसे कोई पूछता back in O levels तो मैं कभी नहीं बोलता कि मुझे टीचर बनना है. हाँ, मैं मैथ्स से मैं हमेशा खुद भागता था. वो अक्सर लोग कहते हैं ना कि नंबर्स तक तो सही था, लेकिन जैसे वो लेटर्स आना शुरू हो गए तब I started losing it. तो O levels, towards the end of O levels, I found a really good teacher जिन्होंने motivate किया, although there was a lot of work to be done back then considering my math skills, but I basically found that motivation to do it. When a teacher plays a huge role in the students' learning. So that was that. उन्होंने अच्छा खासा role play किया. फिर A levels is actually, I think, I would say the turning point when I found my math teacher, 𝗀𝗻𝗲, who was here, I think, a few episodes back. He was my teacher, not just my teacher, but also my mentor. In fact,
he's a wonderful human being.
Definitely, he's the reason why I got into teaching. So I after studying from him and my O levels teacher also, मेरे काफ़ी सारे concepts clear हो गए to a point where I was not just able to do well myself, but I was able to help others also. And then naturally जब आपके खुद के concepts clear होते हैं तो people start coming you for help. So that feeling for me, I think, was the main motivation, where I was able to help others do well. So I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed me doing well. जब दूसरे लोगों को आप देखते हैं कि आपके, क्योंकि आप रिलेट कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज यू हैव बिन इन दैट स्पॉट, सो यू कैन रिलेट कि हाँ ये कैसा फील कर रहा होगा, एंड एग्जैक्टली कि आपको किस लेवल पे जाना है इनको समझाने के लिए. तो ये मेरा टर्निंग पॉइंट था, एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई डिसाइडेड कि whatever I do, whether I go in the corporate world, start a business, whatever, I will be teaching on the side. Even then, I didn't decide that I was going to do full-time teaching. I was like, this is something I'm going to do. It makes me feel good about myself, and I'm able to help others also. So this is something I want to do, whether I do it part-time or full-time.
Wonderful. And one thing that you mentioned, कि आप खुद भी maths से भागते थे, so I feel like you relate one-on-one to the students.
Definitely.
Okay, and now coming towards YouTube, was it something that was always at the back of your mind, content creation and shifting towards online? Because you've been doing it before COVID as well. Yeah. So a little bit about that. What was that vision? And when everybody was coming towards the traditional routes, you did something that was kind of out of the box. So a little bit about that.
So YouTube journey goes way back to 2016. 2016 में मैं पढ़ा रहा था. I was teaching SAT, I was teaching, there was a IBA का टेस्ट होता था, admission test, I was teaching that. So my other mentor, Sir 𝗃𝗲𝗃𝗃, I was teaching with him, I was working with him at IGCSE. So that's when my brother said, since you're teaching SAT, and SAT is always high in demand, and there are good teachers, good teachers are rare, so why don't you record a few videos on he got me an iPad also, a very basic iPad. So he's like, why don't you record a few videos, and then we'll market them and let's see how it goes. So back then I was very reluctant because video बनाने से अपनी आवाज़ सुनने से ना मैं काफ़ी वीडियो तो दूर की बात मैं अपना वॉइस मैसेज नहीं सुन सकता था मैं इतनी मुझे शर्म आती थी तो
were you like introvert?
Yeah, I'm still an introvert.
Really?
It's just that when I'm teaching, that's when I'm in my element, and then for everything else, I'm an introvert.
Okay.
So I made a couple of videos. काफ़ी मैंने half-hearted attempts थी, and there was this platform called Udemy पे where you can make and sell courses online. So उसके लिए मैंने बनाए, and because the attempt was very half-hearted. तो वो प्लेटफॉर्म ने रिजेक्ट कर दिया थे लाइक ऑडियो क्वालिटी सही नहीं है वीडियो क्वालिटी सही नहीं है आई मीन आई न्यू एट द बैक ऑफ माइंड दैट दिस वाज गोइंग टू हैपन बट आई जस्ट वांटेड टू गेट इट डन एंड ओवर विद
The introvert and you came over, this was already going to happen.
yeah definitely I had already made up my mind so back then iPads काफ़ी उनमें स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी नहीं होती थी 816 GB होते थे तो मुझे वो वीडियोस डिलीट करनी थी iPad में फालतू जगह ले रहे थे किसी काम की नहीं थी तो आई वाज लाइक डिलीट करने से पहले ना मैं इनको YouTube पे अपलोड कर देता हूँ तो मैंने YouTube पे अपलोड कर दी वीडियोस डिलीट कर दी बात खत्म ठीक है नाउ फास्ट फॉरवर्ड टू 2018 Now, in 2018, I was teaching at City School. अच्छा अब City School में प्रोजेक्टर्स बिल्कुल नए नए इन हो रहे थे अच्छा और मेरी ड्राइंग स्किल्स जो है ना वो बिल्कुल पैथेटिक है मतलब इफ़ यू आस्क मी टू मेक अ सर्कल आई प्रॉब्ली मेक अ ट्रायंगल इफ़ यू आस्क मी टू मेक अ ट्रायंगल आई प्रॉब्ली मेक अ सर्कल तो बोर्ड पे पढ़ाना मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल था स्पेशली जब वो डायग्राम से रिलेटेड टॉपिक्स होते थे तो आई वाज लाइक ओके व्हाई डोंट आई इन्वेस्ट इन another iPad basically a better version of the iPad that I already had and मैं उसको फिर प्रोजेक्टर से कनेक्ट करके iPad पे बनाना आसान होता है इनफैक्ट आई डोंट इवन हैव टू ड्रॉ आई कैन जस्ट उसमें अपने टूल्स होते हैं तो उससे ये होगा कि मेरे लिए टाइम बच जाएगा और स्टूडेंट्स को भी बेहतर समझ आ जाएगा सो आई इन्वेस्टेड इन दैट But I started teaching on the iPad and then I realized, I was teaching unofficially on the side for a very long time. So I realized कि students के जो queries होती हैं काफ़ी repetitive होती हैं, common होती हैं. Like I can tell कि फ़लाँ year का फ़लाँ paper का फ़लाँ question जो है वो हर student उसमें फंसेगा और सवाल पूछेगा. So मुझे हमेशा से ना चीज़ें automate करने का शौक़ है. मतलब मैं चाहता हूँ कि मैं एक ही चीज़ में बार बार एफर्ट कम करूँ अगर मैं एक दफ़ा एफर्ट कर सकता हूँ और इससे बहुत से लोग फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं सो आई शुड डू दैट मतलब यू कैन से दैट आई प्रेफर वर्किंग स्मार्ट रादर देन वर्किंग हार्ड सो आई वाज लाइक ओके आई हैव दिस tool where I can make a video so why don't I make a video and then I can share that video over and over again with students अगर समझ आ गया well and good नहीं समझ आया तो I'll explain it again no big deal so video तो मैंने बना दी अब वीडियो को शेयर कैसे करूँ WhatsApp पे तो शेयर कर नहीं सकते थे फिर क्लाउड स्टोरेज जो है जैसे ड्रॉपबॉक्स गूगल ड्राइव ये स्टूडेंट्स में इतनी पॉपुलर नहीं थी तो दैट्स व्हेन आई रियलाइज कि ओके बैक देन आई डिड समथिंग कि कुछ वीडियोस थी मेरे पास जो मैंने यूट्यूब पे अपलोड की थी व्हाई डोंट आई डू द सेम अगेन बट व्हेन आई अपलोडेड द वीडियोस आई डिडंट मेक देम पब्लिक बिकॉज आई वॉज वेरी अफ्रेड कि स्टूडेंट्स जज करेंगे कि क्या बेकार पढ़ा रहे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा टीचर्स जज करेंगे
You were too hard on yourself.
yeah extremely so I was like मैं इनको अनलिस्टेड कर देता हूँ उससे ये होगा कि मैं सिर्फ जिसके साथ लिंक शेयर करूँगा वही देख सकता है कोई और नहीं देख सकता सो आई डिड दैट एंड ग्रेजुअली मैं नोट कर रहा हूँ कि ऑल ऑफ सडन मैंने शेयर तो 2-3 स्टूडेंट्स के साथ किए लेकिन व्यूज़ उसमें डबल डिजिट्स हो गए विच बैक देन वॉज अ बिग डील 10 व्यूज़ वॉज अ बिग डील एंड देन विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम आई रियलाइज कि उसमें ट्रिपल डिजिट्स व्यूज़ हो गए सो आई आस्क्ड माई स्टूडेंट्स इवन दो दे आर नॉट पब्लिक आई आस्क्ड माई स्टूडेंट्स आई एम लाइक hello, I'm just sharing these videos with you guys. I have like a handful of students. How come I'm getting random people commenting and I'm getting so many views? So they're like, oh हाँ sir, हमारे tuition में जो है ना वो XYZ students को भी इसमें problem थी. So we shared the videos with them and they also liked it and they probably commented on it as well. So that's when I realized, okay, if students that I don't know who are completely unaware of who I am, they can't even see my face, if they are acceptable, if they can understand what I'm teaching, so maybe I should continue doing this. Yeah, maybe I should continue doing this. So that's when I gradually started making my videos public and I started taking in requests, next मैं किस पे बनाऊँ तो student की request आई उस पे video बना दी. So that's where the journey began basically.
Okay, and you've completely shifted towards online entirely, but you've been a part of both the traditional and the online as well. So do you miss that physical experience with students, that interaction, and any specific experience that you've had?
Definitely, online के अपने बिल्कुल फ़ायदे हैं like the flexibility. I can literally wake up अब 2 minutes before my class, be on my laptop, and as soon as I'm done with class, I'm home. I don't have to travel home. So there's a lot of flexibility. There are a lot of benefits. I can keep a class wherever I want. I can record a video for my students, share it with them whatever I want, whenever I want. So yeah, definitely plus points hain. Lekin one thing that I miss is obviously that interaction with students, students ko डांट लगाना, students का तंग करना. I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but I sometimes miss, students coming late to class, और फिर उनको punish करना, डांट लगाना, और फिर students की अपनी excuses, all that. So yeah, I miss that. I miss that physical interaction with students, but that's how it is so far.
All right. So, being a maths teacher, like, how do you, what methodologies do you use to keep it engaging and to keep the students bound to the topic, and but also not be too mundane towards it? Like, how do you manage that?
Now, at some point, there are these things you can't do with every single topic. Sometimes, yes, there are some chapters that are boring. You have to do them. But I've noticed that if I constantly keep quizzing my students and if I constantly keep them on their toes, and they know, okay, sir, kabhi bhi is pe sawal pooch sakte hain, sir, kabhi bhi is pe test le sakte hain. So that is what keeps them on their toes. And then, ye to chale ek testing wali cheez ho gayi. Sath I make sure that whatever I'm teaching, I try and give my students, I tell them what applications there are of this topic, of this concept, and how exactly it's used in real life. Now, once again, you can't do this with every single concept, but whatever you can do it with, so that's whatever I can do it with, I do that. And this helps. This plays if a student can see a concept being applied in real life, so naturally their interest will go up.
Yeah, okay. And a little bit about content creation as well. Like, had you imagined, like, when I saw your channel and mashallah, over 1 million views, that is phenomenal. And did you imagine, like, that introverted person at 2018, did you imagine you'd come this far? And it's been around 6 years, right?
Yeah, it has been around 6
years. So, what do you feel today about it?
नहीं, I would have never imagined. बस ये मतलब कैसे हो गया मुझे नहीं पता. मतलब सब अल्लाह करने वाला है. Because even now I feel there are a lot of good teachers. मैं भी on the side teachers का content देखते रहता हूँ, and I remember my teachers also. So, you never know when, जैसे COVID kind of helped my channel because learning sari online ho gayi thi, and because I was doing it before COVID as well. So how this all happened, I mean, I couldn't have scripted it even if I wanted to. So it just happened, and there's no way I could have imagined for someone like me, so introverted, so shy, so afraid of being judged, to reach a point where, my channel has crossed around 70,000 subscribers. Overall, I think it has around 7-8 million views. So मैं तो कभी नहीं सोच सकता था. ये सब अल्लाह करने वाला है.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And what do you think? Like, if a student wants to come to you for career counseling, or if they don't have a sense of, like, they are doing O-levels, but they don't have a sense of direction up to what they want to do, what career they want to choose. So how do you address these kind of questions?
See, in this day and age, a lot of things that students want to do, I tell them you don't necessarily have to formally pursue a degree in it. Like, for example, if you can pursue a degree in X while your interests are in Y, so that doesn't mean that you must change your degree towards or to what you're interested in. Like, for example, if someone's interested in graphic design, so that's not something that they necessarily have to pursue a degree in. They can do it on the side, because a lot of times what happens is that students ke jo interest hote hain, they're constantly evolving, and they're completely different from what the norm is. Norm abhi bhi wahi hai, sadly, doctor, engineer, lawyer, ज़्यादा. So मैं स्टूडेंट्स को हमेशा से ये इंकरेज करता हूँ कि जो भी आपका पैशन है, ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप अपने पेरेंट्स को कन्विंस करें कि मुझे इसी में यही पढ़ना है. अगर आपका फिल्म मेकिंग पैशन है तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप फिल्म मेकिंग में ही डिग्री परस्यू करें. These are things that you can do on the side, and the best part about doing it on the side is that you can start very soon. You don't have to wait till you get that admission or you start studying in so-and-so program. You can find out courses online, and there are courses that give you certification also, which you can use as proof. So whatever it is that you feel like you're interested in, just start doing it on the side. Don't wait till you formally get accepted into so-and-so university.
Okay, so you're saying that that can be done as a hobby or as a side interest
Definitely,
and
definitely.
whatever other qualification, because this is kind of the norm as well, that you're not allowed to do certain things, and you know,
Yes.
you're told that after this degree, that is when your life's going to begin,
Yeah.
and then you can pursue your interests.
नहीं, those days are gone जब पेरेंट्स वेट करते थे कि बच्चा जो है वो ग्रेजुएट होगा फिर कमाना शुरू करेगा. अब तो स्पेशली एजुकेशन जितना एक्सपेंसिव हो गई है, आई थिंक स्टूडेंट्स को, चलें ये इंटरेस्ट वाली चीज़ अगर हम थोड़ा साइड पर रख भी दें, आई थिंक स्टूडेंट्स को अगर अपनी एजुकेशन फाइनेंस भी करनी है, एंड इफ दे डोंट वांट टू बिकम अ बर्डन टू देयर पेरेंट्स, they should do something on the side, and you know what better than doing something that you're interested in.
Definitely, definitely. So, apart from that, you are also the co-founder of an edtech company called BRYT, and you're also an advisor for local and international edtechs. So, a little bit about that. What are some of the challenges that you see are prominent in the ed space, and how to cater to those challenges?
So edtech was BRYT was basically a project which we did during COVID.
Okay.
So COVID mein my partner and I, we got together, and we had learned a lot about content creation, educational content along the way. So we were like, why not put this experience to good use and like formalize it and make an edtech. It's not we had to close it after I think 2 years, but it was a good learning experience. हमने काफ़ी सीखा. As a teacher आपको ये वाला एक्सपीरियंस कम मिलता है. एज अ टीचर आपको ज़्यादा एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो टीचिंग से रिलेटेड ही होता है. एंड टीचिंग एक इतनी इन इट ऑफ इट सेल्फ इतनी एग्जॉस्टिंग जॉब है कि इसके बाद आपको कुछ और करने की एनर्जी नहीं होती. सो इट्स अ गुड लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस. We learned about how to raise funding, how to build a team, how to manage a team, how to get other people on board. And because of that experience, now other edtechs, there are a lot of edtechs from Pakistan are actually in the pipeline, and they also come to me and ask me कि content किस तरह से बनाना है, content को break किस तरह से करना है, उसको market किस तरह से करना है, how to capture an audience. So I'm using all that experience and hopefully being able to help other edtechs that are in the pipeline.
All right, wonderful. Also, I wanted to ask this, that in the time and age that we are, where content consumption is at a maximum level, and you are a prime example that you've used that platform so wisely. And I'm pretty sure the students who are watching, if anybody among the students is interested in content creation, then what advice would you give them? Like, obviously, they cannot teach at a global platform, but what do you think a student can take advantage out of from content creation?
देखिए, content creation is a great way to express yourself. एंड पाकिस्तान में सैडली एजुकेशनल कंटेंट की काफ़ी कमी है. एंड बाय एजुकेशनल कंटेंट आई डोंट मीन कि कोई सब्जेक्ट ही पढ़ा रहा हो, कि मैथ, केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है. लेकिन ये कि जनरली कंटेंट दैट helps others. Like for example, if you go on YouTube online and you write, what lighting to buy, what camera gear to buy to start content creation. So it's very unlikely. In fact, I'm sure कि आपको कोई भी पाकिस्तानी चैनल नहीं मिलेगा. आपको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मिलेगा तो इंडियन मिल जाएगा, या आपको कोई वेस्टर्न चैनल मिलेगा. So मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को काफ़ी इंकरेज करता हूँ कि एक तो पहली बात ये है कि कंज्यूम गुड कंटेंट, because if you consume good content, then you will also be able to create good content. And think of the problems around you, think of the issues around you, or think of the issues that you have faced. And I'm sure at some point you must have been able to use that issue or that experience you went through to help someone else. If somebody comes with a problem which you have faced earlier on, then you can use your experience as an example, and you can use that to guide them. So content ideas are everywhere. You just have to be a bit creative, and you have to take that first step of putting your first video out there. So look around you, see what problems other students are facing, see what problems you faced, and even if you just talk about your problems, or even if you just document your journey of let's say you're navigating through O-levels करने में आपने क्या problems face की, even if you just document that can help thousands of people.
All right, so you're completely doing it online now, and you're enjoying it as well. So because it's not that stressful, and it does have its pros, but like what would you do to stress off a little, or when work gets too much, what do you do that allows you to have that me time?
So when I left school का आपको पता है काफ़ी रूटीन होता है कि सुबह आपने एक टाइम पे चेक इन करना है, चेक आउट करना है. तो so this is my second year of teaching online completely. Now the first year of teaching online completely, I realized, although जब मैंने स्टेप लिया था तो मुझे लग रहा था मेरे पास बहुत टाइम होगा, I'll be extremely productive, I'll make a lot of content. But then I realized कि जो first year था मेरा of teaching online, I was not as productive as I was when I was teaching, when I had a full-time job. क्यों? क्योंकि जब scarcity होती है ना, then आप काफ़ी calculated होते हैं, तो आपको टाइम की कदर होती है. तो मेरा स्कूल में schedule होता था कि first slot में क्लास है, फिर second free है, फिर third में क्लास है. तो मेरा पहले से प्लान कर लिया करता था, बिकॉज मेरा सेकंड स्लॉट फ्री है तो मैं उस स्लॉट में बैठ के मैं ये वीडियो की तैयारी कर लूँगा या मैं ये कंटेंट निकाल लूँगा जिसकी मुझे वीडियो बनानी है. तो आई वाज वेरी कैलकुलेटेड विद माय टाइम. बट देन ऑल ऑफ अ सडन आई हैड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, आई स्टार्टेड प्रोक्रेस्टिनेटिंग कि अब तो बहुत टाइम है, अब तो मैं कर लूँगा. आई स्टार्टेड पुटिंग थिंग्स ऑफ. Then from this year, what I've done is I've tried to get back to the same school schedule that I have to wake up early. फिर ये कि सुबह उठ के the time that I have, I utilize it some other ways. Gym चला गया, reading कर ली. So I have now divided my time into different blocks. So there's like a teaching block, and there's like a reading block, and there's a block where I just brainstorm the videos that I want to create, because the recording part is one thing. And then there's a lot of brainstorming. Like if I have 10 video ideas, I'll probably make video on just 2. So for that, you need a lot of time. You need a lot of you need a lot of energy. So this is what I've started doing from this year, and it's helping so far.
All right.
I just hope I'm able to continue with the same discipline.
Oh yeah, hopefully. And do you have like a team behind your YouTube now?
Yeah, so I alhamdulillah have now an agency which looks after all the editing, all the social media, Instagram, YouTube. So my part now is just teaching and recording videos. They do the editing, everything. Setup, maybe they help me out, what equipment to buy, what lights to get and everything. And other than that, so a lot of my videos are academic also. And there are a lot of live streams also. Like for example, I'll announce a live stream कि I'm teaching so and so topic, or I'm solving past papers of so and so topic. So उससे पहले वो सारा material निकालना, questions निकालने. तो उसके लिए I have a team, and the best part is my entire team is remote. Like a lot of my team they're not even in Karachi. Some of them are in Lahore, some in Islamabad. So it's convenient for them. So they just have to, I just give them a task and I give them a deadline. Now it's up to them कि वो सुबह उठ के करें, रात को जाके करें. मुझे बस so and so deadline से पहले काम चाहिए, and that's it.
So it's going great. Like you are having fun, and it's going really well as well, alhamdulillah. And like it's very comfortable, and at the same time you're also on the edge of making new content, thinking of ideas, brainstorming. So like, but you have went through a good amount of time to get here. So like, what's next in your journey? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what do you now look forward to?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about it that way. I haven't given it much thought, because I'm so consumed by what I'm doing these days that I haven't really given it much thought. Right now, I would say yes, it's a lot of fun, no doubt. But at the same time, it's stressful also, and I want to emphasize on this. If someone watching is motivated and is thinking, it's all easy and all that, कि अपने काम में no doubt काफ़ी flexibility है, but काफ़ी problems भी हैं. एक तो problem ये है कि mentally you're never off from work. Like physically yes, but mentally you're constantly working. Like even now, when I was on the way here, I was thinking of video ideas and everything. कभी भी आपका जब कोई काम आ जाता है, तो जैसे कोई काम का सोचा, तो फिर you don't really have to wait कि office hours शुरू हों तो I should start working on it. So ये एक issue है. और दूसरा एक और issue ये है कि आपने जैसे if you're reporting to someone, so you have everything is just laid out in front of you. This is what you have to do. This is the bare minimum that you have to do.
Yeah.
And if you're motivated, you do slightly better than the bare minimum. But when you're working for yourself, or when you have your own thing, then you have to make sure that you are constantly innovating, you're constantly improving. There's nobody to guide you.
Yeah.
Or you have to sort of find your own mentors. You have to set better examples for yourself. So it's in that way, it's a lot of stress, and at the same time you have to make sure that you don't get too comfortable, because if you get too comfortable, ऐसा लगता है कि अब you're not innovating. So you have to find that sweet spot where there's a certain level of discomfort, which means that you are doing something that you're not 100% good at, but eventually we'll get there. And at the same time, you are doing what you have been doing, and you've gotten good at it, and gradually you want to improve more and more.
All right. Okay. So how do you handle criticism? Like, I'm sure, um, like now it must be easy a little bit, but going back when you started, you must have a little bit of harsh comments from students, or were you lucky in that regard?
Nahin, I would say that I have been extremely lucky because first of all, I'm open to feedback. Like I'm very open to that. I always, even now to this day, I keep asking my students, what's your feedback? There's a very formal way of collecting feedback from students, and I always tell them to be open. तो मैं इस मामले में yes, initially जब मैं start करा था, so there was this fear of being judged, but then as soon as I got over that, then I got very comfortable. Even if let's say there was like a harsh comment, so I got very comfortable. I was like, it's let's see, like if someone's saying कि नहीं समझ आ रहा या something like that, so maybe that person has a point and maybe I should see what I can do better, or if I feel like this is as good as it can be, then just take it on the chin and move on.
Okay, all right. And like overall, where do you see that today, fast forward, like right now and onwards, do you feel like there's still like a weakness in your work, or what weaknesses that you look forward to working on, and how would you address it?
Weakness, yes, there is. Like I very easily slip out in the sense that I try and be as disciplined as possible regarding my schedule, but at the same time I get distracted very easily.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely a weakness hai, which I am constantly working on. I mean, it's like I said in the beginning, it's an uphill journey, and I don't have this image in my mind where I'll be like, okay, if I reach this level, I'll be comfortable. I'm constantly learning, constantly improving. So weakness की जहाँ तक बात है, हाँ ये है कि I get distracted very easily and I just slip out of schedule very easily.
And before we move towards the closing end, I want you to mention a strength as well that you've focused over the years, and something that you've developed, or something that you hold quite a lot of value for.
I would say that I'm a quick learner, and when I was starting my content creation journey, there were a lot of things. In fact, there was practically everything I didn't know about content creation. So I had this thought, okay, I'm at a certain stage right now where I don't know anything. But if I spend time, if I take it seriously, I will eventually reach a point where I will be able to do it. So whenever I start something new, I start with this mindset. I try and recall the one thing that I initially struggled with, and now I'm good at it. So I use that as motivation, and that has helped me come over challenges. And like I said, Allah ka shukar hai, alhamdulillah, if I learn something new, I'm able to do it quickly.
All right, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise.
And we wish you all the best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Hopefully, from million to billions.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And thank you so much for being here. We
you.
are
Thank
truly
you for
honored to
having
have
me.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys, that is all for today. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Till then, stay tuned.